Jigs have so many different possible retrieves that we can use. Often we think about them as drop lures, dropping them into cover, that vertical type of presentation. Well, if you're in a situation that dictates dragging a jig, where you're covering massive amount of water and you're just dragging it, stitching it, reeling it along the bottom, even if you're hopping it some, this is where jig trailer selection can make a difference if you're not getting the bites or the attention that you think you should when you're using your favorite jig trailer or one that you use all the time. When you've got a little bit of debris down there in the bottom, or even if you have a clean type of a bottom and you run across rocks or a stick or whatever, it is so easy for that jig to be obscured. We know that bass can pick up bait and prey with their lateral lines. Their ability to pick up vibration is really, really good. Well, once they have that general area of where something is, that is when I like to help them activate as many senses as possible, and that for me means sight. Well, if you're dragging a jig through that type of bottom composition that has a little muck and debris, the length of the jig trailer makes a significant difference in how well it is seen. So here you can see I've used some smaller, more compact trailers like we'd often use when we're fishing vertically into heavy cover. You know, some small swim baits, a craw that's been cut off, you know, even a twin tail grub. And it's super easy for these lures to kind of just vanish, right? So we may be up in the boat or on the shoreline just holding that jig there or vibrating it slightly, and it's not really being seen whatsoever. Well, if we lengthen that jig trailer, a full-size craw that's not cut off, maybe a 5-inch or even a full-size 7-inch finesse worm, and now we start to drag it across that bottom composition, all of a sudden things become much more visual. Not only are the bass going to sense it with their lateral lines, they're going to be able to zero in on it quicker. And sometimes, depending on the plastic that you're using, that tail is just going to kind of roll over softly or maybe even float, okay? Just sit there suspended up where it's easier to see it's up off of the bottom. So if you're not getting the types of strikes that you think you should with your traditional jig trailer when you're dragging it, try adding some length or some bulk, and I think you're going to be pleased with the results. And hey, if you'd like to watch a video that talks about how I decide which part of the water column I'm going to focus on, go ahead and check this one out right here. And make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.